So I'm gonna be talking about my plugins and showing the plugins I made for OBS. I have a list of things I want to talk about. That list is, I think, way too long to fit into hours, but that list is not strictly what I should talk about, because you can also ask me questions or suggest things I talk about the plugins. Thank you all for the follows that are coming in. Let's just start with showing OBS and then do some, make sure I can see chat like this. Okay, thanks for all the work. No idea for questions. Okay, then I'll just start by showing some of my plugins. Let's start off with a simple one. I made a gradient source. By default, it's the same size as your canvas, but you can make it a bit smaller. So you can see it as an advanced color source. Thank you for all the subs, the gift subs. The gradient by default is just from left to right, but you can change the orientation, and of course you can change the colors to something more interesting than black and white. Let's do some purple here. You also can have it transparent, and you won't see that in the preview from properties, but if it's on top of another source, you can see the transparency is there. But that's the simple, and we can make it a little bit more advanced just by adding steps. So you can have a whole rainbow of colors. So that's just a simple plugin to start off with. Between each color you can also change the midpoint. You can see the effect here, so that's pretty easy, and this is just changing in another color space. All these things are simple settings on the gradient source. All these settings can be changed via things like the ATOM bot, the streamer bot, things like that. So via OBS WebSocket you can change properties, or you can use the Move plugin, where we get to later, to change all those properties to make it a rotating source or things like that. Let's put that in here somewhere. And just like that, I have an idea for an interactive thing. Nice. Adding that to the list of plugins to download. Keep a list, there's gonna be more, I hope. Yeah, that link that is posted in chat is of my plugins, where you can find most of them, if you find any on that list that you want me to talk about or tell about, just put it in chat and I'll try to come to that. Let me see. I think that should be enough for gradients. Just starting off simple. The gradient as opacity as well, yeah, I just showed you, but here is a slider. So if I just want to remove this purple color, it's transparent now, and now you can see a transparent part in the gradient. Yeah, it's per color that you can change the opacity of the gradient source. Thank you for all the bits. Do you have a song now playing with it? No, I do not have it with me right now. I normally have it on my stream, but I'm now on a kind of mobile setup because I'm on a holiday, and I just brought a laptop and picked the TV that's there as a secondary screen. So yeah. Let's see. That's a long text. When you get the Move plugin, I have a question. When you using the feature to adjust multiple settings of a source, can there be an option only affect specific settings? For example, if you want to change the position setting of advanced mask, we can certainly try. So on filters, you want to have the move value, and we want to do settings, and then you have all the settings you can change here. At the moment, it's only an option to do single setting or settings. So if you want to change multiple things, at the moment you will have to do move value, multiple move value filters that start at the same time. Here at the bottom there is a simultaneous move option, and if you just have multiple settings you want to change, then it can be then done that way. The checkboxes is an option to make, but it can get really crowded because there are a lot of options before, for example in this gradient, and if every of that options has a checkbox, it would be twice as much. So I'm not sure yet if I want to make something like that. Now we're talking about move value anyway. You can see there are more options. I can, for example, let's do the rotation. And let's do 360 degrees in like 3 seconds, and then it there's a rotation. Then you can remove the easing. Do a next move. Yeah, if you do it not for testing, you should give all the move filters a good name so that you know what they're doing, but I'll just in 0 milliseconds reset, and next move, this one, and now it's already at 360, so it will start as there. So now we have a rotating gradient. I really have to dig in the move plugin. I spent digging into the plugins, yeah. Instead of digging into the plugins, you can watch now a bit, and then you will find some interesting things you can do with it. And there was another option that we need a text source for. I will show it with my Markdown sources, another plugin that I made. And let's make this a little bigger font so that we can read it. I don't know if you all know Markdown, but you can do things like make it a bullet list like this. If we want to change this text, we can type in there if we use a move value and then the typing option. Then if we change it to working, and then let's do 3 seconds, it will remove test and type working. Markdown is really nice, yeah. The other thing I didn't show yet was random and add. For random, I have now a setting that is text. Let's do the random on the gradient. So that's we can do a color here, and we select random, and it must be between white and black, so that should be all colors, and then every time I click this one it will fade to a random color. Is Markdown rendering like a browser source? Yes, it is. Would links work? Where would they spawn? Like a browser source, if you put a link in an HTML page, you will just see the link, and you have to interact with the browser source to be able to click the link. This was the move value type random. We can also do add, and then you can just add something to the column. So that's a bit of move value I want to show you. My brain is still kind of melting over the rotating colors and gradients. Yeah, I'll be throwing a lot of things and ideas at you. I don't expect you to know them all by the end. Just pick the things out you like and you want to use for your stream. And yeah, not everything is for everybody. So you love the t-shirt. Yeah, I have to get a bit up a bit and then you can see it. I had it made for TwitchCon Amsterdam. Let's get myself a drink for a bit, because if I'm talking a lot, my throat will be gone. I thought I detected European in the accent. Yeah, I'm from the Netherlands, so I'm not in the Netherlands right now because I'm on holiday in Germany, but yeah. Any chance you could show us some magic with the nVidia AR move filter? Yes, I can. I have a source that has my face on it in it for a reason. So if I just add the nVidia AR move here, let's put it on top. For example, the gradient source that we have made, we can track it to my face. So the first thing I mostly do is on the source, I do edit transform, and the positional alignment that is normally top left. So the position of the source is defined from the top left. I set to center so that it can attach to a point more easily. So in the nVidia AR move filter, I select the scene, I select the source, and what I want to change on the source is the position. I want to base that on a face landmark, and I want a position of the face landmark, and then if I move this, you can see it's on the top left now, and that's because it picks it from there. And if I position my face there, you can see it is attached to my face. There is a list of landmark properties. That you can see if I move the slider, it just attaches to other parts of my face. If I just shrink this a little bit, you can better see where it's tracking at. So that's the way I check where it's tracking at without looking at the list online somewhere. it's that camera, so I have to look there. You can see there are different positions in the face, but we can make it even better if we're just not picking a position, but we can do attach source and attach to my eyes. That's okay. And then if I look at this camera, it is a bit small because it's just attached to my eyes, but if I move, it should follow quite well. Let's see what the chat is I'm missing. If I didn't respond to your message, just put it in chat later again, because if I'm explaining things, I tend to forget that chat is there. So, what would you say is the most complicated plugin you made? There are different kinds of complicated. There's complicated for the user to use, or complicated for me to make, because a thing like nVidia AR move is not that hard for me to make, because the tracking and things like that is not something I make myself, but I use the software development kit for nVidia for. But for the user, it can be very hard to find out what all those settings are for. For example, the factor you see here is for the size. So if I make this bigger, you can see I have a longer bar attached to my eyes now. And if you wanted a wider bar, you can do it like that. The AR Move plugin require a certain graphics card. Yes, it requires RTX 2000 series and up, I think. Yeah, you can make your own shades, but you don't have to attach to the eyes. You can also attach it to the ears or to the mouth. So now you can't lip read. Yes. So that is a bit of nVidia AR Move. I will disable that and reset the transform of this one. Let's see what I had in the list of things to. Yeah, it is an AI thing. It doesn't have to see where parts of the face are. If it sees other parts of the face, it will guess where the thing you're tracking is. I was checking the list. Can you do a plugin that overclocks my GPU now? That's not something I can do. let's do, let's put this one down here. And let's do move action filter. A move action filter I made to... Yeah, you can still ask questions. Go ahead. Move action filter I made as sometimes when you have moved the source or things like that, after that you want to do other things that's not moving a source, and that's why I made a move action filter. For example, if you wanna refresh a browser source but you don't want to use a hotkey, or because you're running OBS as administrator and your other software that's sending the hotkey or your keyboard is not picking it up, you can use a move action filter to trigger any hotkey in OBS. So that is front-end hotkeys. As you can see, that's quite a lot already. Things like start streaming and things like that. You don't have to use the hotkey version because there's also front-end actions, and that also contains the start streaming, stop streaming, start virtual camera and things like that. But you can, for example, use source hotkey on a browser source to refresh the browser. So anytime I trigger this action, and I can make it a 0 duration, it triggers at the start of the duration, so that does not matter much. But as you can see, the browser source is refreshing every time I trigger this filter in OBS. Is it possible to make temporal filters via shaders in OBS Studio? Temporal filters. I'm not sure what you mean by that. With source clone plugin, what's the purpose of the video buffer property? And what does active clone do? I can give you that answer. Let's add a source clone. And let's clone the video capture. The video buffer is useful when you have a source that's like, for example, 4K, and you want to do effects on it, but if that effect is resource intensive, you don't want to do it on a 4K canvas, but you can do it on a quarter of the size. And if you do the effect on that source, it will take a lot less resources than when you do it on a full source. Another thing, if you do the full video buffer, it just keeps a buffer so that if you have a source multiple times in a scene or things like that, it only renders the source once and buffers it, and when it's rendered on the other places, it uses that buffer to render it on the other places. That's also an option you can use to save resources on rendering specific things. Like, for example, if you have a shader that takes up a lot of resources to render, you can use this option to have the next copies not render that every frame. It's less resources as it depends if it's less resources. If the things it's cloning is taking up a lot of resources, then yes, it can be less resources, but making a buffer also takes a bit of memory, so and an extra step. Yeah. The active clone option that is here is mainly useful for if you have, for example, media source. If you see, here are options. Restart playback when the source becomes active. If you have cloned that source and have not set the active clone on, the media source won't become active if only the source is visible, is active in the current output. If you switch this on, then when the clone is becoming active, the media source is also becoming active, so it will start playing if you have that checked here. Yes, that's a script I made to hide something when it's not playing. Active clone makes sense now too. Great to hear. Then we talked about source clone. I had that somewhere on my list that I can remove. We talked about Markdown source. For Markdown source, there are some changes I want to make to Markdown source that I'm waiting for changes in OBS. So I want to resize the source as you add more text. Now you have to put the size in of the source. So if you get the properties here, now you have to set the width and height of the source. But what I'm working on is that you don't have to set the width and height. It just sizes it to the contents. So that's Markdown source. Let's do an effect on the clone. Now we have a clone. Let's do a recursion effect, another plugin I made. As you can see, there are some copies behind me now. What I usually do is make them a bit offset and make them go a bit up. So that's the basics. You can move the copies of the source. So offset X and Y just moves it to the side. You can make it bigger or smaller, whatever you like. And also rotate them. The delay is now set at 1 millisecond, so it will only buffer one frame. So every copy you see of me is one frame behind the other copies of me. but I can put like 100 milliseconds in it, and then the delay between the copies is bigger. I can also inverse it so that the copies are in front. Don't know if the world is ready for so many Excel though. Maybe you can use it and we have more copies of you. And that's just a simple showcase of the recursion effect. We have enough with finite clones, yeah. Let's do another effect. We're gonna make this filter look 3D. And we can simply slide this, and let's do an orthographic view, and then it's the same, and a perspective view there, and then I increase the field of view a bit, and then you can see it's really rotating in 3D. And you can also change the scale and position, but it's basically simple plugin. And also these values you can also change with move value plugin to have an animation of 3D rotation. That's a bit of 3D effect. Let's do some more on the source clone. Let's do another effect we have is freeze. Now you can see the camera is frozen, so it's working, but there is a lot more possible. For example, we can freeze only the left part of the screen, and we can also do a refresh interval. So now you have a frame every second. So if you want to make it look like you have a bad connection or something like that, you can just set a refresh interval. If you set a maximum duration, the freeze will shut itself off after it's initiated. So if we put it like 5 seconds and switch it on, it will be 5 seconds and then it will disable itself. The train is going great. Let's while we're at this camera, let's show off another plugin I made. It's the Timewarp scan. You can do fun effects like this. So it's freezing also, but it's freezing with a line going down or sideways if you put rotation in it. So you can go from that side. So let's get some more copies, strange things. Yeah. So that's you can change the line color, line opacity, rotation. You can even add a background image if you have a transparent source like I have now with the background removed. With all these plugins you could make your own Snapchat, Instagram filters for your stream. Yeah, something like that. Thank you for the sub. Let's show off. Why is it off screen for me? Yeah. We usually find shader. That's a plugin I did not make fully. I made a different version of there was an existing OBS shader filter, but that could use some improvements and was not maintained anymore. So as far as I know, it was not maintained, and so I made my own version and added some effects and some things. But you can do a whole lot of things. I also added that you can do transitions with it. I think that's an interesting to show. Let's make another scene and let's do a user-defined shader transition, and then we're gonna go with the page speed transition. That should work fine. Oh, it's a bit fast. I think you will not see what it is doing that fast. So if you wanna make it look like your stream is a book where you turn the page to the next scene, then things like that is totally possible. You can select the color that's the back of the page and things like that. It's quite a page turner, yeah. So if I select a different color for the back of the page, then you can see it like that. Let's instead of loading shader text from a file, you can also use a site called shadertoy.com. Let's see if it loads here at all. My system. And let's grab the shader of the week and hope that it can be converted to. Doesn't look that bad at shader, so but we'll see. If I just copy the shader from there, and I have made that you have a button to convert the shader to the format it should need, and it kind of works. So it automatically converted the shader that is on Shader Toy, and most of the times you don't use it on this shader on a webcam, but just make an empty color source and put it on there. But there are shaders on Shader Toy that use a webcam, and that can also be put in here. And then the effect is just with the original source using it, the shader just not using it. With the automatic conversion, I'm still improving that. So if you find a shader that's not converting automatically and you really want it, just contact me and I can look into what I can do for you. If it's something specific to that shader, or if it's something I can make generally available, that next time somebody gets something similar, it will automatically convert. Can we get the converted output code as an export? The converted output code is just, you can just here, just so you can just copy it and save it in a file and load it, load the shader from a text file, or distribute it that way. So yeah, it does the conversion right in the text field. So if you've done the conversion, you will also not see the convert button anymore. So I hope this will get more people into using shaders, because there's a lot possible with shaders. I showed this one. Let's see. I showed this. Let's show some other things from the move source. Most people who have used move source filters know it from moving a source in the transform part. But there are some other parts here. For example, if you want to have a source behind another source and later have it in front, you can also change the order of the sources at the end of the beginning of a move. So you can make a source slide over and then move behind another source. That's what you do with this order and difference position thing. The position 0 is all the way at the top, and the position depends on how many sources you have. The lowest number is the position at the bottom. You can do it on position or relative change. So you can say move 1 down, or -1, move 1 up. It also can mute or fade audio, and I think we talked about simultaneous move, next move. The question about the downstream keyer. Yeah, we didn't talk about the downstream keyer yet, so that's a good next. Let's put in the doc. Downstream keyer is basically allowing you to put scenes in front of the program scene that OBS is outputting. So you can have multiple layers on top. So if you want more layers, just add, and you will see them as tabs here. If you now the layers that I made are all empty, but I can put scene 2 and just put what shall I put here? Let's put now let's do an advanced. We're gonna put an output source of the program, and we're gonna add that to this layer, and then you won't see a difference here because we did nothing with the output source yet. But if I just move this to like here, and we go to here, you might see what it's doing. So you have the original sources and the output copied, but this allows you to do effects on your program, on the things that you're outputting. You can also use it for audio. Technically, it's using the same system as audio, because if you put in here the audio, this desktop audio is technically in OBS put one layer above your program output, and this is the layer above that, and this is the layer above that, and so the first downstream keyer comes above all the audio output layers. So for example, we can do a shader. We have a nice shader. Let's do cartoon effect. And you won't see anything here, but now we're here. The cartoon effect is applied to the whole scene, to everything, and also to any transition. If we duplicate this and we transition between those, you also see the transition that's part of the program output. The effect is also applied to that. So if you want an overlay that's visible everywhere on your that's always visible on all scenes and even above and while transitioning, you can put a color source here, for example. Let's make it something like that. It's a nice size. Just put it there. And now if we go to this scene, you see the color source is not in this list, but it's always on top. I cannot put like the gradient, it's always behind it. If you want to put something behind it, you just use the output source, put it behind the color source, and now everything is on top. Everything in the scene is on top of that color source that is added via the downstream keyer. Is it possible in downstream keyer to have certain downstream key scenes applied to certain scenes? You have an exclude scene, so if you want it visible on this one and not on this, you can select it like this. So if I go to this one, it's not visible anymore, and then if I go here, it becomes visible again. So that works with an exclude list. You also have, you can add multiple scenes to one downstream keyer, and only one of them is visible at the time. So if I add another scene here and also put that in the downstream keyer, if we're here, we should see that color source, and if we go to this empty downstream keyer, the color source is gone. Those scenes can also be transitioned between, and we can make that a fade of, let's put in 3 seconds again. So then you can see the effect that it's fading between those options. It's an alternative to nesting scenes. Yeah, it's an alternative when you want the effects to also happen during transitions of the program scene, and when you just put the nest the same scene in every other scene, then it's something like, yeah, it should be, it can be in the downstream keyer. And it makes your sources list in the scenes a bit cleaner. It has its advantages and disadvantages. I have to look. Downstream keyer has vendor call request. Yes. Yes, though it should be possible to call via OBS WebSocket to change the scenes, disable. There is an option here. It's the pause button. If I select that, then it's the same as selecting no downstream keyer on no scene on this downstream keyer. So you will see that nothing is selected, and you will see the fade away because we had the transition on fade. There is a checkbox here that is for tying the transition to the program transition. So when I select the scene here now, you will see that it does not change here yet. As soon as I select another scene here, it will do the change, but not because I have the exclude still on. So you will see it's on, and when I do the change, it will still be on, but as soon as I change the program scene, it will do the change. So it's tying that change. Does excluding the downstream keyer from a source also prevent it from being captured in source record? That is not something I'm familiar with, that it's including the downstream. Source record output also including downstream keyer. I'm not familiar with that. Welcome in, Raiders. Explain downstream keyer, so I can remove that one from my list. We have a whole list to go. I still have an hour. We're gonna get through most of it. Thank you for all the amazing work you do and the stuff you've given us. I know the majority of our streams would not be as nice or easy to manage. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the bits. Let's talk about by the way, if you have any questions, just put them in chat. I have a lot of plugins I can talk about, so just put any questions you have in chat. Where is my list? I was looking at my list here. Yeah, let's do another plugin. Let's disable this one so we don't see that anymore. And let's go to docs, and now let's go to tools. We can talk about the source copy, but that was not the one I wanted to talk about. Source doc, let's do that one. So, source doc allows you to doc any source that is in OBS, create a doc from it. So, for example, if we add a browser, then it becomes available here as a doc to choose, and it puts it on my display. And then here I can put it inside of OBS. The thing with browser sources is that you can interact with them. So I can click on the links if you put them in a doc, and as you can see, it's just a copy of this one, because if I click here, it also changes the one in my OBS itself. So it's not exactly the same like a browser panel, but it allows you to interact with browser sources if you want that. If you, and let's remove this one and let's add a scene. If you add a scene, you can also enable switch scene, and you can add properties buttons, filter buttons, and the scene items. So if I show that doc now, you will get a lot of things here. You get the preview. I can remove the preview or add it back. The properties and filters button, so you can see directly go to the filters of the scene. Scene has no properties, so it's will not do much, so we can remove the properties there. And you can also, when you have a dock and you have like a nested scene, you want to enable and disable sources on. Why is it doing? It's not on the preview because it's not a scene that I was on in the preview. This one. So, and you can directly go to the filters or the properties also from this source dock. So I find it useful when I have a scene with lots of things I switch, but I have it nested down. I use it mostly. I disable the preview and have just the list of scene items, sources that are in that scene, and just be able to enable and disable things that are nested and visually be able to see if they're there. Yeah, you can drag this to another monitor, that is not a problem. If you put here a window name, you can make it so that you have another window. Let's remove this one and make a new one of this scene on window test, and we want to make the scene switcher, so we can do like those two scenes. And then if I go here, I should be able to have one window with two docks in it. So those docks won't dock in the main, but only in the window that's made by source dock. And if I click on this scene, it will switch scenes to that scene, and if I click on this, it will switch scenes to that scene, and that's something you can enable by this checkbox, so that you can use it as a scene switcher where you can see all scenes. So TD was saying it was stopping him from docking if you gave it the window name. Yeah, if the window name is empty, it can dock in the main, and if you put in a window name, it can only dock in that window. Then for media sources, you can also add the volume, audio controls and media controls. You can add something that shows a label if it's active or not. The properties and filter buttons I showed. Let's show what you can do with, like for example, the Markdown source, and I want it as a text input. Now I can dock the Markdown here, and I can add things here. and then it should show. That's good. Yes. Welcome on in, new viewers. Let's see. That's source doc. I showed switching scenes. Edit text. Yes. Audio monitor. What do you want to know about audio monitor? Because I can show audio monitor, but I cannot really show what the audio is doing. By default, it as a meter for track 1. Audio monitor is made to be able to view and monitor audio at a different level than your stream is hearing it. By default, in a media source, you can, if you go to advanced audio properties, you can set it that you can hear it as well, but then it will also will always use the volume slider that's on the source. And if you want to show have a different volume on stream and then what you're hearing yourself, you can just I can show, no, I don't, that one. I can add a filter to the media source. That's an audio monitor. And then you have here, you have two sliders for the media source, the one going to stream and the one you're hearing yourself. So you can also make it that it's linked, so then when you move one slider, the other one is also moving, and you can also link the muting so that it so that you can only hear it when stream is hearing it and things like that. You can choose what device, and this volume is this one, so if you change it here, you will see it changes there too. If you want to see the audio that is going to the stream, most of the times it's track 1 in OBS that's going to the stream. You can have here track 1 show. You can also show track 2 if you want. If you have a fault track or something like that, and you want to see what audio levels are going out of OBS, you can do that. And if you show one track, you can also put it to an output. Be aware that audio monitoring this way is delayed, so mostly not useful for a microphone. because of the delay it has, because it will sync up the audio with the video before it outputs it to your monitoring. So it will be delayed by yeah, you can send it to a specific output. That is not a problem, Slashy. You can even make it so that you output it to multiple outputs just by adding multiple audio monitor filters, or if you want to output the tracks, just select all your sources you want to output it to, and then you can get the audio where you normally only monitor on one device. You can just put it on your speakers and your headset and things like that. Welcome on in, Crash. Can the stream and monitor volume muted set by other plugins? Yes, it can, because it's just if you're just monitoring a source, it's a filter, and you can just set this via OBS WebSocket or things like that. So you can or use a move value, or so. That monitoring can be set by other plugins. Yeah, the track names, most people don't know it, but you can set track names in... Now I have to do advanced and then audio, and then you can set track names here, so that it isn't not called track 1, but this can be called stream and this can be called vault or something like that. But that's something that's built in OBS itself, and now you see here it's called track and vault. And if I hide it and show it again, it will also show it here, yeah. Whoa, I learned something, yeah. I throw a lot of information at you all. Hopefully there's something in it for everybody, and there's something that sticks. Gonna make some changes right now. No, now you have to watch the raid train for the coming hours. So maybe you can do it while watching the raid train. Let's see, were there more questions? Let's remove this one. Let's remove it here. If you want to know what these buttons are for, that's in the user interface of OBS. You can now, if you want to dock something in the left bottom, it's always at the bottom, the dock. But if you enable those two, that no, why is it not working? I need this one. Then your left dock is from top to bottom. because this one is top left and this one is left bottom. So you can change whether your dock goes all the way to the bottom or not. And as you can see, it does not only work for docks of source dock itself, but for all docks in OBS. So you per corner you can set if it belongs to one side or the other. So this checkbox changes if the left bottom is belonging to the bottom dock row or to the left dock row. I have a question. Why does the blue OBS screen stay when I add a browser source? You mean just when you add a browser source, that it just has the default URL? As soon as you put something in here, it should change. So if you change this to obsproject.com and you click OK, then it applies. Any way to make source docs be collection specific? It should be scene collection specific because it's saved in the scene collection. I don't test switching scene collections often, so it might be a bug or something. So please remind me after the stream, or make an issue on GitHub or post it in the OBS project forum for the plugin. That way I can think of it later. Okay, and then my screen is disconnecting. That is an issue from this laptop I'm streaming from. It should be back in a sec. Why is it? Come on, restart. Well, the screen is restarting. Let's see. Let's look at the list. What plugins I want to talk about. Yes, the screen is restarted, so I can see it again. Let's remove this. Let's put this back to default, and let's put this here. Let's talk about transition table. So by default, OBS uses this the transition that's selected here to transition between two scenes. But if you want anything specific, like when switching to scene 3, I want another transition to happen, you can select a transition override. Like for example, I always want fade. So if I switch away, it will be the page view, and then it should. No, because transition table is active, and if you have the plugin installed, you should do it in here. So if you change from any scene to scene 3, make it a fade. And then set, and then you see it in here. And then this should be a base peel. And this is the fade, but because scene and scene 3 are the same, the fade is not showing much. I have a problem because I wanted to use Timewarp to do something. For a distortion of a microphone, I would use a VST plugin. I'm not sure which one are. There are thousands of them online. I have no experience, so I cannot help you with that. That's there. So if you have multiple of these, like we do from scene 3 to any, we do cut. You can also look in a matrix, like what transitions you have set. Why did it set fade? I set fade twice? Yes, I did. From any to scene 3, cut, set. And then the matrix, and then you see the cut here and the fade here. Thank you for your plugins and what you do for the OBS community. You're welcome, thank you for the bits. Transition table just allows you to set specific transitions for switching between scenes. You can make it very specific, or you can say from any scene to a specific scene, use this transition with this duration. That is transition table. Let's talk about scene collection manager, because we've been tinkering on our on our scenes, and by default we don't get any backups. But if you want to have backups, you can select in Scene Collection Manager automatic backup, and then every time you use a scene collection, a copy is saved, so that when you screw something up, you can get an older version back. It's very handy. It also allows you to import and export if you wanna, and when you export, it will put all the files that are needed for that scene collection in one folder. So if a scene collection contains images that are on the local file, it will also put them in the folder, and when it's imported on another system, you will get the images linked correctly, because when you just copy a scene collection from one system to another, all files will be probably in a different path. So if you use this import, it will check the path and correct them all for you, so that you can get your scene collection working on another system without having to put every source correctly. It also does it for image sources, it does it for scripts and things like that. So also your Lua and Python scripts should be saved and copied with it. If I want to make a backup now, I just click here, it just gives me a backup name, so you can give it a name by default. It will get a time value, and then it's here, and you can select it and switch to it when you want. That's the basics of Scene Collection Manager. You can set it that you have like at maximum 10 backups. If you open Scene Collection very often and you don't want to have the backups of 3 years of changes, you can select how many you want to keep per scene collection, how many backups. And you can also open the backup folder and change it to a custom one if you want the backup it to like a Google Drive or something like that. Yes, that is that one. Let's make this a bit normal again. Let's put my clone next to me. No questions in chat that I missed. Soon there are no plugins areas left for Excel to create. I'm working on multiple plugins that are not released yet, so I can share. One of them I'm working on is a stream delay plugin. So you can delay your stream by, for example, 10 seconds, and then when something happens that you don't want to go out, you can erase that buffer and replace it with something else. And it also will be for people who play first-person shooters or games where stream sniping is a thing. So it can add stream delay without restarting. You will have to give it a part video to play. Like for example, you record 10 seconds of your stream, and then it will loop that 10 seconds of the stream till it's delayed, for example 30 seconds, and then it will play what was 30 seconds behind, so you have a delay built in. And then you can just replace things, or you just use it when you're in game when you're in game to be delayed, and when you're back at the lobby, and you just switch back to live. Yeah, broadcast delay. They add delay to remove bad words and things like that. That should be possible then, yeah. I was talking about plugins. When I will be publishing it, when it's done. It's in a really rough state. It works when replacing, but it has to cut the video on keyframes because it's buffering the encoded video, and you have to cut it on keyframes and get all the video and audio on the correct position again. So it's a bit tricky, but I'm getting there. And yeah, it could be like a month or a few months before it's done, but I talked about this one. Let's show another dog that we did not show. So I made a plugin to keep notes with scenes. So you can keep track, for example, on your starting soon screen, you can have a list of things you want to do before you really start the stream. Just add a list here, and all those notes are connected to the scene. So if you switch scenes, you can have some other notes here. You can make it a list with squares in front of it, or like a list with circles in front of it. All the formatting things are in here. You can give it a bigger font. It's basically HTML, so you can also have it save to an HTML file or just load an HTML file. If it's very long, you can make it automatically scroll. By default, it saves in the scene collection and not in a separate file. And yeah, you can change the font, things like that, and have some notes on your scenes. It can be handy if you do like a presentation or something like that, and have scenes where you keep your notes, what you have to do, things like that. Yeah, I'm getting closer to the end of the stream because we have like 20 minutes left. So if there are things you want me to talk about, just put them in chat. Get your questions in there. I have not had all my plugins yet, so let's see. I did not have thought about the move transition itself. What all these options are for. Vertical, yeah. I can talk about Vertical. Vertical is a plugin I make for Atom. Atom is the company that pays me as a day job, so I can make plugins full time, and that keeps it so that I can do it full time and keep the plugins free for you guys. So it's locked. Did I have vertical installed here? No. I only picked the ones for my page just to install them. Let's see if I can do a quick install. This. Let's close this OBS and install it. We're back, and that is Atom Vertical. That is the plugin I made. It gives you an extra canvas, an extra output in OBS. By default, it is vertical. We named it Atom Vertical because it was made for adding a vertical canvas, but you can just type in any resolution you want here or select, and now it's not vertical anymore. So you can have two horizontal canvases as well. I'll keep it vertical for now. You also have your own scenes list and your own sources list. Let's put them somewhere there. Let's make that corner part of that. And where did my chat go? Here. So, do you only OBS related stuff, or do you also work on Atom itself? For Atom, I work on OBS plugins. So, I do some work for the automation app, but mostly I work on the plugins. If you want to know more about the automation app, you can also watch the next streamer in the list who is a founder of Atom. I made the vertical plugin and maintain that for Atom. So you can stream from here, you can record from here, and you can do backtrack recordings, backtrack clips. That is basically the same as a replay buffer for the main. We called it backtrack recording. So you can make vertical clips. So you don't have to be streaming from vertical to use vertical. You can also you can have the backtrack just running, and when anything you want to save or clip happens, just push this button and save it in vertical format. So you can just add your sources. So I can add my video capture device here, don't make new sources for everything. Reuse sources as much as you can. If you have, like, for example, a horizontal background and a vertical background, then do it separately. But for example, game capture, only have one game capture and use that on both, so that you don't have the resources the double. And this also supports downstream keyer. So if you have downstream keyer installed, you see that here the normal downstream keyer, but we also have a vertical downstream keyer now. So it works with that as well. And you can have your scenes linked between them, so that if you change scenes here, it will also change scenes here. So if I duplicate scene here and I link this one to scene 3 and I link this one to scene, then when I switch here, you should also see it switch here. And to make it more obvious, I will put myself on different positions, and it will use the transitions that are here. Can you clone sources from normal to vertical? Yes, you can, but you don't have to clone them. You can just do a reference, for example. If you want to do other effects on them, you can clone them. But as you can see, this source is exactly the same as this source here. If I remove the background removal, you see it does it on both the main and the vertical. But I can also just add a source clone here and then clone like the gradient, for example. Or I can put in the gradient itself. It should be here. That is all the Does Windows 11 interfere with any streaming tools? Not that I know of. There are specific things that can be Windows 11 related, but it works all fine for me. Should I ever consider going back to XSplit? You should always consider your options. I like OBS, but if you have specific needs, you can always look at other options. Diplomatic answer, yeah. Let's see. There are no questions there. I was going to talk about some properties of the Move plugin. You have a couple of sections here. Here is the matching, and I think these options explain themselves. I tried to make them explain themselves. That text there. What not always obvious is like the matched items, appearing items and disappearing items. So if you switch between two scenes and they both have all the same items on them, then everything is a matched item. That's this. So for matched items, all these settings apply. If I just remove the source clone here and I go to here, then you see it appearing and disappearing, and that is appearing items and disappearing items. So if I go from here, from scene 3, it's moved a bit out of. No, I did not want to have that one moved back. I want to have this one moved back. I heard that this was the stream train pro. Yeah, it's the stream train. Raid train, pro stream, something like that. Yeah, those words in another order. So I only have like 8 minutes left. So I don't know if you have any questions. Can you give a quick explanation about the differences between move, plugin, action, source and value? Yeah, a move source you use to make changes in a scene. So in a scene you can use a move source to move a source around, resize it, make it visible, make it not visible. That's why you use move source filters for. You place them on a scene, like here. A move value filter is something you use when you want to change properties. For example, this gradient source, we put move value filter on to change the properties of this gradient so it's rotating. That's mostly the move value, changing values from other sources and other filters. LEJ on the right side, it's the 8M vertical plugin. Yeah, that is something I made also. Yeah, and move action is mainly made to do all kinds of other actions that you want to do. Because I did not want to add all those actions to the move value and the move source and make a separate filter that can do all kind of actions, like for example start the stream, take a screenshot, change source visibility, mute the source, enable a filter, and also source hotkey, what I talked about in the beginning, for example to refresh a browser source. So if you select a browser here, you can refresh with using a move action. there is one move filter I did not show yet. I have like 5 minutes. That should be possible. And that's the audio move. Why did my audio get louder? I pushed the wrong button. Is it louder for stream as well? No. Let's pick this one. Now we have my mic. In here. And if you have an audio source in here, you can add audio move filter to it, and then you can use the volume of the audio to change something. For example, I can change on seeing the position of the browser source based on how loud I speak. And by default it's a bit jittery because audio is very jittery, so I can add some easing and then it will be a lot better, and it just displays how loud it gets. So if you want to do effects, for example, that trigger on the bass of some music, you can add some filter in front of it to get the bass of the music out of it and then trigger something. Because I did now do transform, but I can also make the source visible when or like that. Let's put the threshold somewhere here. And then when I talk, when I don't talk, or the other way around, when I talk it's visible, and when I don't talk it hides. So I have 2 more minutes, so let's read what the if there are any questions. You've changed people's lives. I made some tools and people change their lives themselves, yeah. What's your favorite included shader filter? I don't really have favorites. I don't use them myself that often. I mainly make them for others. Let's start this raid to the next one. Well, my monitor is glitching again. Let's start this raid. Because we have a few seconds left and then it is yes. Thank you all for coming to my stream and following the raid. This raid train. So rate is started. Yes. Thank you all. Bye.